What does that sound, you ask?
Welcome to the Rec Show podcast, a show dedicated to beatmakers around the world. Kick back, relax with the host, Golden Mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
I never do a la like this. Gotta be something for me to write this. Queen, I ain't seen you in a minute. Wrote this letter and finally decided to send it. Signed, sealed, delivered for us to grow together. Love has no limit, let's spin a slow forever. I know your heart is weathered by what does did to you. I ain't gonna sorrow cause I probably did it too. Cause of you feelings I handle with care. Some recognize the light but they can handle the glare. You know I ain't the type to walk around with matching shirts. Relationship is heaven, I will match your work. I want to be the one to make you happiest and hurts you the most. They say the end is near, it's important that we close to the most high. Regardless of what happened, on him let's rely.
There are times you need someone.
Yeah.
I will be by your side.
So.
There is a light that shines that you
Check. It's important we communicate, tune the fate of this union to the right pitch. I never called you my to even my boo. There's so much in the name and so much more in you. If you understand the union of woman and man, sex and a tingle is where they assuming it land. But that's fly by night for you in the sky, right? Through these cold shy nights, moon, you my light. If heaven had a height, you would be that tall. Ghetto the coffee shop, I see that all. Let's stick to understanding that we won't fall. For better or worse times, I hope to me you call. So I pray every day more than anything, friends will stay as we begin to lay this foundation for a family. Love ain't simple. Why can't it be anything worth having you work at annually? Granted, we've known each other for some time. It don't take a whole day to recognize sunshine. Yeah.
Check, 1, 2, peace and love, everybody. Golden Mind here, representing the Rec Show podcast, man, a podcast for beat makers, music producers, and composers from all around the world, man. I want to say thank you for tapping into the show, man. Thank you for supporting the show any way you can. Man, it's we've been off for a couple weeks, man, but we just been gearing up for some amazing interviews, some amazing stories that's going to be told on the show, man. So thank you for tapping in, man. If you like what we're doing, hit the like button. You know what I mean? In Apple Podcasts and Spotify and YouTube, you can hit the like, you can hit the share button. You know what I mean? You can subscribe and all that type of stuff. So y'all know what to do, man. Go ahead and do that, man. But let's get into let's get to today, man. So today, man, okay, the last time I talked to this gentleman and the super team that he's a part of, man, which he's a part of a couple super teams, but we'll get into that. But in this one, it's been, man, I want to say, has it been a year? Dang. I think
almost a year.
Oh, wow. I think it's been a year. Wow. Okay, to the date, So, man, we going to California, man. We talking to a Beatmaker, but he's like, you can't put him in a box, man, because when I listen to his music, it's a whole bunch of genres mixed, man. So you can't say, he's just hip hop. You can't say he's just experimental. You can't say he's just, off the walls, like in another stratosphere. He you know what? He is in another stratosphere, man. He in another galaxy of his own, man. So we're gonna talk about that. But he's also been a part of a group that I definitely support, man, all the way from Texas, man. I love Supreme California. And ladies and gentlemen, if y'all don't know about I Love Supreme California, y'all about to learn today. But I'm going to link also the last interview I did with the super team, I Love Supreme California, in the description of the show, so y'all can tap into that after you listen to this one. But man, let's get into it, man. I want y'all to welcome the one and only Burn The Topiary, man. Welcome to the show, fam. How you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm happy to be here, and I gotta thank you for the opportunity to speak. On the Rec Show podcast. This is like a legendary podcast that everybody needs to be put on. So please, like my man Golden Mind said, support it, like the links, share the links, send some money if you can, so we can keep this thing going, man. So it's an honor to be here. I'm very humbled, and I appreciate the time, brother.
Man, thank you for saying that, man. Let him know. He said send the money.
Yeah, send that cash, man. 5 cents, $5. It doesn't make a difference. Whatever you want.
Hey, it helps, man. Listen,
Yeah.
But man, thank you for allowing me to share your story with the world, man. Ontario, California is on fire, man. LA is on fire, man. The whole California and all around the globe is on fire when it comes to the creation of amazing music, man. You're a part of that as well, man. So Southern California, man, what is it about Southern California now? I don't know. What is it? What y'all got out there, man?
You know what, I asked myself that too, man, because I love living here, not because of the housing prices, like that shit sucks. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it makes it worth to be out here for several things. Like the weather is always nice, and then we got really cool people. Just the diversity of cultures that I think contribute to the music scenes out here, and I love it. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of up and coming people that are out there showing their music, and it's really great to have something to do every single weekend because of it,
Yeah, man. You know what, man? Texas has, a lot of stuff happening.
I bet.
Austin, Houston, Dallas, stuff like that, but San Antonio as well. But
nice.
Me just, being a lover of the beat community, man, and trying to tap into what everybody's, because there's so many creatives, man. So many creatives out there that's doing their thing and learning and growing and stuff like that. I'm trying to get everybody's story out there, man. But so let's get right into it. Let's dive right into Burn The Topiary, man. If I had to look it up, man. It's quite an intriguing meaning. But, for those that don't know who Burn The Topiary is and, what that name means, because that is a very unique, moniker, man. What is Burn The Topiary? What does that mean? And how did you come up with that?
Yeah, no, for sure, man. So Burn The Topiary is it's a name that kind of derived from hold on for a second, man. I got my kid screaming over here.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Okay, yeah. So Burn The Topiary, it derived from a joke name that a lot of my friends they always used to kind of refer to me as a tree, just because I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'3", and And topiary, as I'm sure when you looked up, it's like when you shape a tree into like some type of animal or an airplane. So to me, like Burn the Topiary became a concept for the music that I like to make, where, you know, burning that structure that somebody makes for you off of your personality is critical for you to finding your own self, you know. And that's kind of what I've always envisioned that name as a representative of what I like to do musically, is like kind of, you know, not conforming to the things that people really like and stuff like that, like just really allowing my emotions to drive the music and what I'm creating. And even if it's weird and kind of wonky and like a little off color type thing, like I just put it out there, you know what I mean? Just because it's just coming from a really raw place, and it's very therapeutic to me, you know what I mean, to think of it that way.
Yeah, man. I like the meaning of your name, man. Like, it's so, man, I think as creatives, that's what we're trying to do, man. We're not trying to, you know, fit into the norms, the social norms and all of that type of stuff. Like, you know, it's not even like a, man, it's hard for me to explain, like a rebellion of the norms. It's just trying to
Yeah.
be your best self and not trying to be like anybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, man. And like that's the way it's I see it for a lot of people, like a lot of my, you know, peers that do this, is that they're showcasing a lot of their personality, a lot of their the sounds that they enjoy. And it's pretty cool that we get all to share those different colors in music with each other, because it's almost like you learn more about the person in a sense, you know what I mean? Like you understand them a little bit more clear.
Yo, man. Definitely, man. That's super dope. Like, did you come up with that name, or did somebody give you that moniker?
No. I came up with it sometime like in like the ending of '99, where I was starting to make beats, and I was really trying to like learn how to do music production. And once I had like a handful of beats where I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna put this out there, and you know, whether someone listens to it or not, it's going to be out there, you know? And I had to put a name to it. So that's kind of what came about.
I got you. Man, so you've been creating music since 1999?
Well, I would say like beat oriented music. Yeah. Because I mean, I've been playing music pretty much my whole life for the most part. I'm a guitar player, and that's kind of what I grew up on. And then during high school, or actually elementary, junior high, and high school years, I was playing trumpet in band and stuff like that. So like music's always been around me. But beat making was the whole new world, you know, and it really intrigued me once I caught that fever to make your own music, you know. So yeah, since like '99, I would say is when the beat making started.
Got you. Yo, man. Like, okay, so see, now we seeing like you've been around music. Like, was there anybody else in your family that kind of like influenced your musical, you know, upbringings and said, hey, yo, play this, or, you know, play the guitar, play the trumpet, or anything like that?
Yeah, so a lot of family on my dad's side, which I'm very fortunate, because like it's kind of crazy because my dad really wasn't around too much when I was a kid. But the one thing that I'm very grateful that he left me was the musical influence. Like, he was always, you know, bumping salsa and merengue in the car, and he was a big metalhead type of dude. So he liked playing a lot of that music, a lot of hip hop, a lot of different, you know, varieties of music that really kind of molded me into liking the things that I like now. So, and then his family, I mean, there's a lot of musicians, you know, a lot of guitar players for sure, and singers. They you know, they love singing. I remember, you know, being a kid and everybody getting together and singing songs. And, those are things that just, I think, really, you know, clinged on to me as I was going through my own discovery of music.
Fond memories, fond memories.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Like, yeah, like you got those, your pops is playing, all these different types of music that influence you. Do you remember um, like the bands or some of the, the musical acts that stick out to your brain that kind of influence you to this day?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, growing up listening to so many different things and appreciating it all. I mean, there's been like countless influences in they've taken part in what I like to do. So like hip hop wise, like Gangstar is like my top artist that I can put on any single day and listen. And we got Erykah Badu, Bjork. Beatmaker wise, like DiBiase, oh man, like DiBiase is like he's up there, man. Like he really takes a big influence on me, and I can sit there and watch his lives for like hours and not even blink once. You know what I mean?
Man, yo, shout out to the Gangstar, man. I think it was DJ Premier's 50. He might be older than
yesterday.
50, but
was
it yesterday?
Yeah, I think it was yesterday, right?
Yeah. So, DJ Premier, man, if you listen to this show, man, happy birthday, man. Thank you for everything you've done to, support the hip hop culture and music in general. Because he's not just in hip hop, like he make music for all these different genres, man. So,
oh yeah,
amazing, and Gangstar.
Yeah.
So, shout out to the Slapmaster General, man. DiBiase, doing some amazing things, man. Actually Professor DiBiase now,
right?
all in UC Berkeley and doing amazing things, man. So
he's a university beat maker now.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, man. But man, yeah. So your pops, giving you that influence and the music influence. Like, what would you say is your favorite instrument to play and why?
I'm a guitar player, man. Like that's the first instrument that I geared towards, and after so many years of spending time on it, like learning scales and writing music on the guitar, playing in so many different bands throughout my musical journey, it's just the one that I can find I can express myself in like a very different way, and it's all like constructing, like making music, putting parts together, how they work together, and to me it's like a puzzle, and it got to the point where like now obsessively I'm sitting there for hours just trying to figure out something that's in my head and see how I can make it work and translate onto the guitar,
Right, man. Because when I listen to your music, man, all the way from your your very first album that you put out, and hold on, man, let me make sure I got the name right. Tree Beats Volume 1, right, that you put out on Bandcamp.
Right.
All the way from listening to that all the way until the most recent project that you put out, I Lost My Umbrella in Soho, which is a super dope name, but we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm listening to like all of these, like the horns and the guitars and the what you do with the drums and everything like that. Like when you being I would say a veteran in beat making, man. It's just you've been doing it for so long. When did you think it was time to like create your own music and have other people either listen to it, like it, or don't like it type of thing?
Right, man. So, I mean, and you know what? It's funny because, like, I'm going to correct myself here. I said 99. I meant 2019. I don't know why I'm thinking 99. Like, that's way back then. I was still playing guitar back then, man. So, my apologies. But no, 2019. It's like right in the, it was in the beginning of like the COVID era stuff going on. And, obviously, I mean, I was playing music throughout that whole time, but once everything kind of started locking down, it really allowed me to discover other ways of getting like a creative outlet out, So beat making came about because I've always been a hip hop fan, and electronic music just always captivated me in a whole different way from what like guitar music did. And at some point I was like, you know what, like I want to try this. Like I want to, get my creative on. And I ended up buying an SP 404SX and spent like a whole year trying to learn that thing. And even still now, I'm still trying to learn like a lot of stuff that you can do on that powerful machine. And then I downloaded a recording program and really like dove into trying to figure out like what's mixing, like what's EQing and what's compression and all that fun stuff that comes with this. But yeah, like around, I think 2000 or 2020, I'm going back to 2000, man. Like 2020, I think is when I did that Tree Beats Volume 1 album on Bandcamp. And it's funny because like, if you'll listen to like Tree Beats 1, 2, and 3, which I have up there, like, that was me exploring with the whole, using MIDI and programming drums, and a lot of it's like, quantized music, just because I was, trying to discover what can be done with these programs. But then in like the later albums, you'll hear kind of like a different feel to the music, because I was unquantizing everything and started discovering like, hey, you know what, I can actually play this out, and I can add, weird little sounds around my drums and mix them all together and create something a whole different vibe to it,
Yeah, man, because you in 2020, man, you put out 4 albums, yo.
Yeah.
four albums worth of music, yo. And,
probably all made within like a 3 to 4 month time frame too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
I'm telling you, man, like once it kicked, it was an obsession. Like I was just like, I freaking love this. Like I can't stop, and still till this day, like it's one of those things where it's like every day I'm going to sit down and spend an hour or 2 hours, whatever life allows me, to make some music, Wow. So yeah, it was a pretty short span with all those albums coming out, and one after the other. I was just like, all right, here's this group of songs, here's this other group of songs, and so forth.
Yeah, because I definitely hear the shift from the first 4 albums that you put out, which were Tree Beats Volume 1, 2, and 3, and then you put out the album the samples,
right,
and then I hear the shift all the way through, starting with like Indignation and common ground. I lost my umbrella, and so like, yo, yeah, like, hold on, but I want to skip questions because I want to talk about a few of these albums for sure, man. So, but I do have to ask, hold on, man. Let me make sure. I do have to ask about like you're learning music, man. You're learning your equipment during the time where, like even right now, like everybody's back to work, everybody's hustling, everybody's grinding. But I think that, the pandemic, yes, tragic things were happening that out of our control. But that was a time where I think a lot of people just stopped everything and was like, yo, I'm going to take this time to do what I want to do, learn what I want to learn, you know what I mean? And then when we come out of it, how did you stay on that regiment during that crazy time to just, just learn your SP44SX and, whatever, the DAW that you were using, and just learn and crank out beat after beat after beat after beat?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm trying to look back on it. It was such a chaotic time on my end, as I'm sure for many, many, many other people, and very unfortunate event that occurred. But in another way, like I feel like it allowed people the time and the space to kind of really discover what they wanted to do, away from the standards of working and paying rent and like everything that we have to do to kind of stay afloat, So really, like, it was just a constant inspiration of the people that I would meet online and hearing their music that really motivated me to keep going and keep learning. And, staying humble with their craft in the sense that, like, you know, never approaching it with an attitude of like, oh, you know, I'm going to be the best type thing. Like, no, I'm like a student to this stuff, and there's like an infinite amount of stuff to learn on, regardless of whatever machine or devices you use to make music. Like, there's always something new to learn, and to me, that's the intriguing part of it. It's like, all right, what can I learn, and how can I twist this process up a little bit, you know? And that curiosity, that is, I think, is what gave me the drive to like keep going, you know. And at some point, you know, because of the stressful time that we were all living in, and, you know, a lot of people lost work and stuff like that. Like, you know, we felt that in my home, but I needed to kind of keep that level head for my family. And honestly, with 100% truth, beat making, I think, is what's been providing me that balance, you know, emotionally and mentally, because it allows me that time to just sit there and make something. And I love creating. I love doing that kind of stuff. And when I do it, it's almost like a refresher to my soul type thing. You know, it sounds cheesy, but that's what it is. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I definitely understand, man. Like, you know, crazy times, but that was and still is sanity for me, just like, you know, a lot of other people. When things get crazy, like, you can just sit down and express your emotions in a non-destructive way. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we chopping up samples, we destroying samples, but we're, you know, creating something else that's like can speak to our, you know, our emotional state. Like, I like the way, you just gave them crazy gems right there. Go ahead, man. Because that's
inadvertently,
true.
but that's what, well, yeah, man, that's what it is, you know. And like and I think it's taking an approach like that would be making for myself, and I'm speaking for myself, and I'm sure other people, but like it, you know, taking that approach has allowed me to not overthink the music so much. You know, I think like when I was starting out, I was just like, okay, like, this hit has to be perfect. And then you'd spend an hour trying to find the perfect spot for that one hit. And like, you know, this mix isn't good enough. And then you trash it and keep going and going. And it was really never good enough in that sense. And like, you know, once I kind of got away from that mentality of like not worrying about it so much and just making what comes out for that moment that I'm making something, like I found like a whole different happiness to the whole process because of it, you know. Just really music that's driven by the emotion that I'm feeling at the moment, you know. And sometimes I'll be making something, and then by the end of whatever I'm making, as far as the beat or a loop or whatever the case, I listen to it and I'm like, wow, like I didn't realize I just made that right now. Like I was so into the process, and this is what came out. This is what it is, you know.
Right, man. Like, I gotta ask you this, man. Like, there's so many different things that you could have done, you know, during the you know, the global pandemic and stuff like that, or even right now. There's so many things that you can create, but you chose music specifically. You know what I mean? And I think, well, you know, I can't even say I think, man. I can't even say I think. I keep saying that. I guess the question is, you know, you could have drawn something, you could have built something with your hands, you know, and, you know, you could have done any other thing, but music is what you gravitated to. Is that like something spiritual for you?
Oh, definitely. And it always kind of has been, because I mean, growing up, you know, we didn't have the most favorable, you know, life situations growing up. And you know, I grew up with my mom, who was pretty much a single parent for most of our childhood. And then my younger sister, who I, you know, primarily would take care of a lot when my mom was working like 2-3 jobs, just to stay afloat. And music has always been there. Like, you know, I had old pawn shop guitars that, you know, always sat around our house, and I just recalled me, you know, really diving into learning and really just keeping my head there. And, you know, like many of us experience a lot of bad influences and stuff out in the world. at school. I think music kind of kept me away from all that stuff, you know,
Right.
because I like being a decent human being, Mr. Golden Mind, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, I like to have my fun, but I also like to, you know, do good in the world the best that I can. And I think music really pushes me to do that a lot. That I love it, man, like obsessively love it, you know, and I think it's a healthy obsession. Like, because it's something that I'm just constantly thinking about, constantly appreciating and being grateful for.
Man, yo, shout out to, you know, all the single moms. You know, I had the same situation as you, man. So, you know, I'm the oldest of 5. So,
Oh, nice.
you know, moms was, you know, out there hustling, man. So
Yeah.
I definitely, and music, you know, music for me, same way, same thing. Like I would just come home from school, you know, make sure my brothers and sister were good. And boom, I'll put on like Mike Jackson or, you know, a Prince album, you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
just take me away. And you know, I'm growing up, and I'm not sure if, you know, you growing up in the same time frame, but I'm growing up in the 80s, middle of a crack epidemic, gangs, all that type of stuff, you know? And
Right.
man, I think music definitely was one of them things that saved me, because I could have chose another obsession and that could have been the
Right.
destruction of me, you know? So
Yeah.
man,
No,
crazy.
yeah, and I mean, I think that's why, like, you know, we, you know, as music makers, like, we appreciate other forms of art, other forms of creation too, because it's all relative, you know. Like, to me, making beats, making music is like painting with sound, you know. And
Right.
there's so many different colors and brushes, metaphorically speaking, right, that you can use in music to create a whole different picture than what the other person's doing. And when you see it that way, it's like, man, like it's an infinite possibility of creation that you can just make for yourself, you know, for other people to enjoy, and vice versa. You know, you enjoy everybody else's paintings, sound wise, sonically, right?
Right. Yo, you just gave him another bar, man. You said
Yeah.
painting with sound, yo. That's woo,
Yeah, man.
message. Man.
Yeah.
Yes. That's it, man. Yo,
Yeah,
painting
man.
with sound, man. Yeah, you right,
Yeah.
yo. Cause I do enjoy other people's paintings, man. Like you
Right.
know, a lot of people are creating different things. And you know, we just so happen to be blessed to be able to see and tap into all of these people through the blessings of technology, you know, the good parts of technology. You know, we're
Yeah.
able to see and listen to and watch other people's creations. Man, that's so amazing, man.
It's dope, man. Yeah, it's amazing. And then, like, how it keeps evolving into the times we're in now, to where everybody can have accessibility to do this kind of stuff, that you start realizing, like, man, there's a lot of people that, you know, maybe back like 15, 20 years ago didn't have access to this stuff, but they had gold. You know what I mean? Like, they had gold building up in their souls. And like, once they were able to express it, it's like, man, you hear so much dope music out there that it's like, it never stops. And it's really great. You know, as a music fan, like we all love it, you know?
Yo, man. So, yo, man, I gotta ask you, you know, as far as, you know, as we're talking about music creation and stuff like that, I gotta ask you about your process to creating music. Like when you sit down in front of your, you know, your SPs, and I see you be rocking out on Koala too. So shout out to Koala Gang, yo.
Shout out Koala.
You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
You know, I like, what happens when you sit down and you want to create something? Like what goes through your mind? You know, how do you even start creating your music?
Man, I think you just start, right? Like whatever's gonna come up that moment. Cause like, all right, so check this. I primarily I like making beats on the SP and then Koala because it's just so easily accessible. Like I don't have to turn on my laptop, and I have a pretty crappy laptop, so it takes forever to turn on.
Right.
And you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
I kind of got accustomed to just making beats away from using a recording program and whatnot. You know, I really messed with I don't know if you've heard of a Drum Brute Impact from Artoria. And I think they usually, like, a lot of people use it for like more like upbeat, upbeat tempo type of music. But I mean, I love the analog sound that it contains. So like there's a lot of beats on some of the later albums I have on Bandcamp that you'll hear, that the distinct sound of a drum brute impact. It's like, it's very, very analog-y, mono sounding. I love that type of feel in music. But really, I mean, yeah, just getting back to the process, it's like whatever I'm feeling for the moment. If I'm at work and I get like 30 minutes, I'm on Koala. You know what I mean? Like that I'm making music there and I'm trying to get my outlet on. And then if I get home, I'll turn on that SP on the couch, and just get comfy and watch something while I'm trying to make something. And, just really try to make the process like easy for myself so that I'm not like sitting there getting a chance to overthink things is really what the process is for me.
Yeah, overthinking is the killer of inspiration, man.
Bruh, like I'm like a chronic overthinker, especially with music, right? So like the last year, maybe the last couple of years, I've really been trying to like better myself with that, like to not, because I notice the peace that it brings to me when I'm not sitting there like, oh, is this good? Or like, oh, I don't know about this one. Like, no, like just it's made. It is what it is. We're gonna put it out there,
Right, man. Listen, so everybody, don't sleep on, like, when you just out and about and inspiration hits you. Don't sleep on the mobile apps that these app stores have. Like Koala is, if you want, everything unlocked, it's gonna cost you maybe $8, $9 or something like that. But you can do so much in that app. Beatmaker 3, whatever other, mobile apps that there are that you can have access to while you're waiting, doing laundry, or what, at the doctor's office, whatever. You're gonna be bopping your head in the doctor's office, but
right? Yeah, while they're checking your colon or something.
Listen, I've had to wait an hour in the doc. I made a beat in the doctor's office, so
that's it, man.
Like wherever inspiration hits you, like I've literally sampled people walking in through the hospital, because everybody's talking and things like that. But man, Koala and your SP, like,
right?
What are the things that keeps you creating on those two devices?
I think like, so for Koala, I love the accessibility of having it in my pocket. Like, I mean, so like, coming back to one of the albums I have on Bandcamp, which is the latest one that I dropped, I Lost My Umbrella in Soho, was entirely made on Koala, and it was made in 3 days. My wife and I took a trip to New York. It was our first time in New York. And prior to the trip, I remember seeing a post from one of my Love Supreme brothers, Black God 9. And he went out and did a show out somewhere out of state. But I recall him posting up a beat that he was making while he was traveling and commenting on how that, the trip itself was inspirational to him to make that kind of stuff. So it really stuck to me, right? Like once I saw that, I was like, wow, like, going on this trip, it's going to be our first time there. I'm going to get a lot of first impressions. I've never been to New York. I really want to capture the vibe. And, like from before the time I got onto the plane, like I was already set, like, all right, I'm going to make an album in the 3 days that we're going to be out here. And it's all going to be on Koala, and we're going to capture sound from, the subways and, the shops and the stores and everywhere we were going to. And then like, a lot of the samples that were used on that album, it's crazy because like we would be at like one of their malls out there, just kind of being tourists, and a song would play out on the store speakers, and I'm like, whoa, what is that song? So, there I go looking for it on the internet, and I would save it. And then when I would have like 15 minutes or whatever to myself, I would sit there and try to make something really quick and just kind of move on to the next one, Right. So it was such a refreshing way of creating music, because it was just like you're using your environment as an inspiration in a whole new place that you've never been to before. That it doesn't allow you the time to like over mess with things. Like it's like, no, bam 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 boom, this is what it is. Let's move on to the next thing. And by the time we were done with our trip, I got back, and I think like on the airplane ride home, I just spent time trying to mix it a little bit. And then, you know, as soon as I got home, I'm like, all right, here it goes on to Bandcamp. And that's what it is now, you know?
Man.
Yeah.
Yo, actually, you know, since we talk about it, man, this album is this is a definitely, like you just said, it was like a journey album. It's the best way I can put it. Like,
yeah,
it's definitely a journey. Like, you hear and you can sense like you were traveling and you were listening to all these different things happening. Luckily you had Koala in your pocket and you did something with it, man. Like, yo, like I like a lot of the tracks off of I Lost My Umbrella in Soho, like from, you know, Departed, and the way you sequence this joint too is crazy. You know, you started with Departed and then Turbulently Jaded, Crash Landing. I hope that didn't happen, but good. You know, Subway Surface, Slanted Streets, like, yo, you really took, and that's New York, yo. Sewer Rat Party.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So like, just to speak on that one, right? Like Sewer Rat Party, like, so we stayed with my wife's cousin who lived in Brooklyn, or she lives in Brooklyn, and Brittany, shout out to her. I love her very much. You know, we stayed in her apartment, and she's a partier, man. Like, she's a bar closer is what she calls herself, right? Like, we'll go to the bars at 12 midnight and we're there until it closes at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. By like 4:30, me and my wife, like, we got kids, man. We got jobs and kids. We're like done, right? Like, just like, no, this is too much. Like, I can do this in my 20s, but not in our 40s, you know?
Right.
And but no, like, we took a break from the little club that we were at, and we sat outside and we were just kind of enjoying the night. It started raining, and all of a sudden you just see like a whole family of rats just like walking by us, and we were like, oh my God, you know, my wife's freaking out. I'm laughing my ass off because I was finally able to see a New York rat, you know? And yeah, man, like, so like that moment, I captured it on Koala, just the environment and, you know, people having fun and drinking and stuff like that at 4:30 in the morning, and, you know, the rats walking by us, and put it, you know, in that specific track, which is really cool because it just, like, listening to it, you just get all these nostalgic moments, you know?
Right. Yo, what? and another dope track, I Lost My Umbrella, the title track, like, that's another dope one. But then I like what you did at the end as well. You know, Security Check, and that's a Doom remix, man. What you did with that was amazing. Like, yo, how did you come with that? Like, what was the process when you were coming up with that last track? Yeah?
Man, like, because everything was so like spur in the moment type thing. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I think, you know, like, it's just, to me, like, when it comes to, like, because obviously I like sample chopping, man. Like, it's great. Like, don't get me wrong, I love making my own melodies and stuff like that too, which I've messed around with a lot in the older albums. But like, sample chopping, like, it allows me to manipulate it so much. And some of my favorite stuff to sample is either like Brazilian jazz, like really obscure stuff, you know, or just jazz in general. Like, you know, there's so many different types of tones and melodies in jazz that, you know, once I start kind of like messing around with the sounds that I'm collecting, you know, I just try to find a certain loop or a certain chop that works together. And I think, that track specifically, like, once I made it, I was like, you know what, I need an acapella on this thing. We're going to make it a bonus track, and we can't go wrong with, you know, all caps MF Doom. Like, you know, he's one of my favorites, so he had to be on the album with me. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was a great closer joint that you put on there, man. This whole album was super amazing, man. For the internets, man, if y'all didn't know, man, I Lost My Umbrella in Soho is available on Bandcamp. I'm going to link Burn The Topiary's entire Bandcamp discography inside of the show notes. Okay, so just scroll down a little bit. You can see the links. You know, it's going to have his social, it's going to have his discography, it's going to have the you know, whoever the intro track is, and I think I got an idea on that one. But yo, man, I'm gonna clap it up for you, man. Like, yo, you
thank you, brother.
on that,
appreciate it,
on that album, man. And then
thank you
another
so much.
Another one of my favorite joints that's in your discography is Common Ground. It's short, man, but it's like it's so good, man. Like Common
Thank you.
Ground. That came out in July 6th of 2023, man, day after my wife's birthday. So shout out to my wife. Yo, what's up? What's up,
Yeah,
baby?
yeah. Shout out to your wife, man. Absolutely.
So but Common Ground, like how did you what was the process on making Common Ground?
Yeah, for sure. So Common Ground was just like a collection of beats that I had in my SP. Pretty much all those tracks were made on an SP, but like my goal, I think like 3 of the tracks share the same sample source. And I think during that time, that's like one of the exercises that I kind of fell into, man, just like, just to keep myself interested for making music, is that like, one of the common practices I like to try to do is like get one sample source, whether it be 20 seconds of a song or whatever, wherever it comes from. And let's see how many beats you can make out of that sound different, Yeah, because like, for a while when I got into sampling and chopping and stuff, like I noticed that like I would work on one sample source and then I would make the one beat, but there was so much other stuff that I could have done with it. And like, I never really took advantage of that, So like, at some point I was just like, you know what, like, let's try this sample again, but let's try it with like faster drums, slower drums. Let's pitch it, down, or let's go up this time. Let's go in reverse and add a flanger to it. It gives you so many different options at that point where you're just like, wow, like so like three beats of that Common Ground release were using the same sample source, and then that release was pretty cool because like I released it as a way for people to donate to a help center that's out here in Ontario. So all the payments that came in for that release went to the House of Ruth, which is one of my favorite, charities to donate to. And they take care of, women that have gone through domestic violence. They take care of their children. They have like food banks and stuff that we've helped out there before with. Wow. So yeah, like everything that came in for that album until this day, like if anybody decides to, purchase that off of Bandcamp, know that you're supporting this cause at the House of Ruth in Ontario, California.
Wow. Okay. See, the stories behind these albums, man. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like
oh
like,
my gosh.
And I think like that was the inspiration behind it all, man. Like I trust, like growing up, as I'm sure all of us went through our own stuff. Like it really made me realize that like, hey, look, you're alive, and you're either gonna do good for the people around you, or you're gonna do bad, right? And like and to me, like me and my family, like we're really big on doing that kind of stuff because it's needed in this world, man. Like as many people as we can get to help each other out, it's just gonna make things a lot better for all of us in general. And with the Common Ground release, like a lot of those tracks that I would make, like I kind of had that in mind. So you'll have tracks like the unemployment line, where a lot of people, when they lose their job, they're in a position where they kind of feel desperation, which is really sad that we have to live in that kind of world, Right. But yeah, that's the source of the inspiration, my friend. Like, and it's cool to look back at that album and think of all those things when you speak of it.
Yo, man. That's so inspiring, man. I gotta grab this album as soon as I get off the chat with you, man. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that, man, because
Thank you, bro.
That's something close to my heart as well, man. Just doing for others,
right?
And I think people kind of like misunderstand when we say, help your fellow man. It don't always mean, hey, give a few $1,000s or
right,
or break your back doing it or anything like that. It can be the simplest thing as create something, and then whatever you like you did with this album, you created the music, you put it out there, people support it, boom, you take those funds and donate it to something greater than what you could have even thought. Like,
right. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, and it's so and it's done for the sake of doing and not for the sake of receiving something in return, you know. And like I think that's why I appreciate my Love Supreme brothers, man. Like every time, like, there's been 2 events that we've been able to throw at the Love Supreme warehouse, where we would announce donations welcomed, you know. So like there's been 2 events where, man, like, I'm so appreciative of everybody that attended those events, that brought like canned food. We did a toy drive for last year's Christmas, and we donated it to the same location there in Ontario at the House of Ruth. We've donated a lot of cans that came from the Love Supreme events to a food bank out in El Monte, California, that does like wonderful work for their community. And I mean, those people, like, they work really, really hard in trying to keep people fed, you know? So I'm appreciative that, you know, we have a space and events that we're able to do that kind of stuff, because it just makes everything so much more meaningful, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yo, speaking of a Love Supreme California, like, you do something amazing. You and your wife, you know, open y'all's doors, man, to allow the squad to come through every month and put on showcases. Who does that? You know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, man, I'm wondering who doesn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, you get free concerts at the place that you work at. You know, it's like, and so much amazing talent, man. Like, yeah, I'm shout out to my wife. My wife is such a lovely person. She's, you know, the love of my life, and she knows where I come from with the music stuff. You know, like, she sees how passionate I am about it. And she loves music just as much, you know, but just in her own way type of thing, like, you know, being a fan of it and whatnot. But yeah, man, like, getting to know so many dope creatives on Instagram primarily, you know, and as I was releasing my own music, like, this opportunity came up, and I was like, hey, look, I have a space, let's do this, you know. But you know, I'm sure, you know, you've come across people that, you know, kind of, you know, talk the talk, don't walk the walk type thing. So, you know, thankfully I met a group of guys that walk the walk, you know, and they're giving it 100% every single event that we've been throwing, to the point where, like, a year and a half later now, like, we're still doing it, you know, and we haven't missed a beat. So I'm grateful for that, man.
Yeah, man. Like I told you, man, I thank you and your wife, man. I know the squad. Appreciate y'all, man. Like, yo, we need, and you know, people that have spaces, like, open it up, man. Just, you know, it ain't got to be anything outrageous or crazy. Just allow a space for the creation and the sharing of their creations, and you watch what happens, man.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like,
oh, man. It's insane. Like, my wife and I will look back at certain events and we're like, holy crap, like, I can't believe that we just had this type of caliber show here, you know, where, you know, just so many dope people, you know, hanging out, having fun, being kind to each other, motivating each other. Like, it's almost like church in a way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's that,
church
it has
is
that
supposed to
spiritual
be.
feeling. Yeah, exactly. What church is supposed to be, you know, like, it's all love, it's all brotherly, sisterly love, and support, you know. And it to me, like, growing up in music environments, I was always appreciative of the spots that I had to go to, you know, for things of that nature, that once I got into a position where, like, hey, you know, I can provide this, like, hell yeah, I'm going to do this, you know. Like, there's no question in my mind, no hesitation, like, this is what I love to do in my life, you know.
Man, for the internets, man. I got to remind y'all, we've been talking. I'm talking to Burn the Topiary, man. So, you know, a Love Supreme member. He's a amazing beatmaker, you know, instrumentalist as well in his own right. But when we talking about Love Supreme California, man, let me just go. This is a live music venue in Ontario, California. It's a DIY residency collective, man. So yeah, here's the members, man. This is the when I say the Avengers of beat making, this is who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Burn The Topiary. I'm talking about your boy Pax. I'm talking about Black Guy 9, Jet Lag Trav, Splashiest. Splashiest, you know, his art is crazy anyway, but yo, T.Einsaw, what's up, fam?
T?
The Enlightenment Picks, thank you. Zalente, man. Like, yo, this squad, oh man, this squad is crazy, man.
The best group of guys, man. Like, oh man, I tell T Dot all the time, like, brother, like I'm blessed to have you guys in my life, and I mean every single word of it, because those, I mean, like, person wise, human being wise, amazing human beings. You know, away from the music stuff, like they're just really, really down to earth, compassionate people, passionate people of the art that they put their time into. And I couldn't have asked for any better. And you know, those group of guys, I love them very much, man. And like, I'm very thankful to have them in my life.
Yeah, man, such good dudes, man. Like, yo, anytime I get the opportunity to support any of those gentlemen, and then you know, and the group collectively, man, I'm always down for that. So I think, and you know, and at the time of this recording, 2 hours later, you're going to be doing a show. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. Hey, check this out. Look, like, after this, I already have my car packed. I'm going to head out to Riverside, and we're throwing a Love Supreme event. I think it might be like event 16 or 17, somewhere around those numbers. Residents, we got Jet Lag Trav. And then we got Theotis Soul as a guest resident. And then for the loved ones, which is, you know, the people that are have been booked for the lineup, we got Echoic, Godspeed, Defty, Divine Science, who's doing an album release show for tonight, Elijah Day, and then Assad Ill. And we're actually kind of changing things up a little bit this time around. Like, we normally do it at the warehouse where we usually do it at, but we're going to be throwing it at a spot out in Riverside, California, called Elements Record Shop. So it's going to be a fun night.
Wow.
A busy, fun night. But that's how we do, man.
Wow. Yo, so for those that are outside of the, you know, the California state, just pay attention. Yo, go ahead and follow I Love Supreme CA on Instagram, and on X as well, man. Just go ahead, follow them on Bandcamp as well, because I know they put some good things together, man. There's some music on there, Bandcamp as well, and then you can order a t-shirt as well there. And then, you know, the Theo de Soul, I think he just put out, did he just put out an album?
Yeah. I think he put it out with Thank You. It's a album produced by Low Tech, AKA Thank You, AKA Ross Koala. They put out a cut together. It's amazing. Please go support that. You're not gonna regret it. It's a really great vibe.
Yo, the cover art for this is insane, and then the name of the album is called The Sun's Out. So I'm gonna link that in the description of the show as well, so y'all can tap into that. And then I also saw the other gentleman's album that y'all are celebrating today. I can't remember his name.
Divine Science.
Yeah, Divine Science. Yeah. So, yo, man, y'all been on a run, yo. This is so crazy, man. Like, yo, it's so amazing and inspiring to see y'all work ethic and what y'all been doing, man. And I'm just seeing it online. So in person, I'll probably have to have a camper van, yo, just to keep up with y'all.
I'm waiting when we have a golden mine on one of our loved ones' guest spots over here, man. You got to come down here and rock with us.
Listen, I am going to be actually in LA May. I think it's like this third week in May. So I'm gonna chop it up with y'all and see what I can do, man.
Yes,
it's
make it happen.
Yeah, it's on family business, but you know, after we take care of family business, like I'm gonna definitely try and link up with y'all. So
please do, man.
Where am I gonna be at? It's close to LA.
Mm-hmm.
It might be an hour out from LA, but I can drive. It's no worries, man. So
yeah, it'd be an honor, man. It'd be so dope.
Definitely, man. I told T Dot, well, I think it was last year. I was like, yo, 2024 is the year. I'm about to link up with y'all, man. I gotta experience this myself, man, with my own.
Yes,
What they say,
sir.
what the kids say in IRL, in real
Yeah,
life.
right? Yeah, in abbreviated real life.
That's so crazy,
Yeah.
so crazy, man. But yo, man, let me ask you this: what now? We're gonna have some new people tapping in, man. Some at all different levels of music creation.
Sure.
And they're probably gonna be, just trying to figure things out. What would you recommend to the new mutants, man, that they either, watch, they either listen to, or they read to kind of help them along in their music creation journey?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the beauty about the world we live in now with the internet and so many different events that are available to us now. Is like, for one, get out there and meet people that are just as passionate about what you like to do, with their craft, and learn from them, like that. I think that was, again, one of the things that motivated me the most. I mean, hanging out with killers like T. Einsoff and your boy Pax and Black Odd 9 and Salente, like those are guys that are just like, just monsters on the beat making craft, and it's just a constant motivator to me to be like, all right, how did they do that? Like what's going on there? And then me going home with that mind and that feeling, and really trying to hash it out in the way that I do things, not necessarily copying them, but like learning, right? Like learning off of it, incorporating it into what you like to do. So definitely get out there, get inspired, and never stop learning. Like that's one of the things. Like I've been playing guitar since like I was about 3-4. I'm still opening up my scales book and discovering something new. And, after so many years of doing this, and, it keeps you humble, to the point where, you grow a hunger for knowledge, in music and learning. So same thing with beat making. There's so many different things to learn, so many different people you can learn off of. Don't be afraid to do that.
All right, man. Stay curious, ladies and gentlemen. Like, stay curious, man. No matter what anybody says, just keep creating, man. Just keep creating, man. It's gonna be people that don't like it. There's gonna be people that love it, man. You're not gonna please everybody.
Right.
Every joint ain't gonna be a banger. It ain't gotta be.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it, is you can make another joint after if it's not,
Right. Like, it's just make it something that you like, like,
yeah.
Who was saying that, man? I think was it Ninth Wonder? I think Ninth Wonder had something on IG where he was talking about, people talking about kids sampling from the 2000s, and the whole sampling.
Oh, I think I saw that.
Yeah, the whole sampling thing, man. I mean, listen, man. Listen. If you have streaming, you have the ability to sample. Go crazy, man. Especially if you pay for it. Go crazy.
Exactly.
You got millions of songs literally in your pocket. You better go crazy, yo. Yeah,
man. Absolutely. And it's like one of those things where don't I know I had to learn not to get caught up with what, sometimes you experience other people's expectations of what you're doing. And it's like, no, like, that's not what it's about. There's no expectations. Like, music is an open platform for anybody. And just like one of the books that I've been reading lately, that I think it's from Rick Rubin, called The Creative Act. He talks a lot about that, to where it's like, really, you just have to do it. Like, there shouldn't be like a necessary like game plan per se. I mean, obviously you set your goals and whatnot, but when it comes to actually creating, like, you just do it, and you're going to find that, like, as long as you're keeping consistent in doing it, you're going to learn, you're going to perform better, you're going to do better. And that's what it's about, spending that time, putting in those 10,000 hours.
Right, man. Yo, I actually got to read that book, man, because a lot of people have been recommending that book.
It's great, man.
Yeah. I've been I've been reading money books lately, but
Oh, there you go. Hey, those are good too.
yeah, I've been reading I've been what's the book I'm reading right now? Uh Napoleon Hill. I can't even remember it right now. My brain is foggy. Okay, but anyway,
Yeah.
let's talk about
Regardless of what it's called, I hope it works and it gets you a lot of money, man.
Exactly, man. So I gotta ask you, and last couple questions so we can wrap because I know you got things to do.
Yeah, for sure.
We how can if there was well, let's talk about you real quick. How can do you have any projects on the way? Any type of things for 2024 that's going to be coming out?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So like we got we're finishing. Well, we actually just finished a compilation album. It's a Love Supreme compilation album that's going to be dropping, I think, next week on the 30th. It's going to be a beat from every single one of us, which I'm super excited about because, man, my guys, they don't let down, man. Like they have some fire bangers on there. So that'll be coming out. And that's gonna be a lot of fun. Please look forward to that and support it if you can and are willing to. And then I've been really trying to finalize, a group of tracks that I want to put out on my personal Bandcamp, titled to be determined. Like I still kind of have to tighten up all those loose ends, but it's going to be again, a little different from what I've probably done before, but I'm pretty excited about it. So once that's ready to go, it'll be posted up all over the place.
Y'all better I'm trying to tell y'all better tap into Burn The Topiary's Bandcamp. Hey, listen, man. I don't know if y'all know this. Let me whisper to the internet real quick, Burn. Listen, you can follow people's Bandcamp profiles.
Yeah.
Okay, get the app. Go ahead, create an app or whatever, and then follow them, and then you'll be able to get the notifications when they're announcing their new albums and announcing new
Big
projects
facts.
and things like that. Like it'll be in your news feed. That's how I know about all these albums that all these mutants be putting out, man. That's
it's the best, man. Like you sometimes you get messages unexpectedly and you're like, oh, another Ricky tape. Like I'm down for this one. You know what I mean?
Right. Shout out to old Ricky too, man.
Oh yeah, man. I love that guy. He's awesome.
Yeah, man. Like, follow them on the Bandcamp. I love Supreme, Burn The Topiary. Follow them on Bandcamp. Follow them on the socials. Actually, how can people? Where can people find you on the socials? How can people tap into you?
Yeah, for sure. I have you can find me on Instagram. That's where I interact. I think for the most part, under Burn The Topiary. And then I have the Bandcamp going on with pretty much all of the releases that I've done up to date. And then I think I may have a couple of drops on like through the Spotify and all the digital platforms. And then you can also find me on YouTube under BTT or Burn The Topiary. And I upload like just little loosies and stuff like that I'll be inclined to upload on there. So please feel welcome.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I'm gonna tap into your YouTube, man. Cause
yes, sir.
I just been posting some beats on there too, man, just to get the creative juices flowing.
That's it
on YouTube, man. And so okay, follow Burn The Topiary on his socials. Follow him on Bandcamp. Follow A Love Supreme. Do you follow him on YouTube as well? If there's one jewel that you can give the internets, man, what would that be?
A jewel?
A jewel.
Yeah, I don't want to throw no coals out there. Just some jewels.
Just so
Oh man. All right. So here, I guess this, like, whether it's on topic with the beat discussion or not, like in general, right? Like as a human being, things get tough, and that's a part of life. But the key to overcoming that is just to keep going. Don't let anything stop you from what you're passionate about. Don't let anybody stop you from doing what you love to do. And be kind to each other, and thankfully, like, there's so many avenues that people can, go to and be a part of. And it's just a matter of taking the time to look for them. And you're going to find a lot of like-minded people that are going to be very supportive and kind. And man, like, I can't tell you how blessed we are out here with the communities that we're a part of and support. And if I may, I want to give a shout out to Burgers and Beats, Duck World 808, Organic Beat Sessions. This is my beat in San Diego. Beats Just Because, Beat Cinema, Beat Mecca, Analog Los Angeles Party, Ladies Love Loops.
Keep going.
Yeah, man. Flip a Beat Club and Plain Jane Records, man. Like those are our family, man. Like those people have been very supportive of what we do at A Love Supreme, and vice versa. Like we, collectively all try to support every single one of those causes. And then even out of state, man, there's so many more to name out of state, in Texas, in New York. So, please, like, support it, be a part of it. Love life, have fun.
we're getting ready to close the main cabin door. Prior to doing so, we do need all customers in their seat with their seatbelts fastened. The faster we can achieve that is the faster we can get off the gate and get on our way to New York. Once again, at this time, we need all customers in their seat with their seatbelt fastened.
Lights represent every living person on the planet. The white lights are humans. And these are the mutants.
They tell like younger kids or other producers like that's cheating. You can't really be sampled, but bro, like when it comes to this producing shit, you can do whatever you want.
You've been listening to the Rec Show podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Remember 3 things. Believe in your music. Take care of your mentals. Become the best version of yourself. Until the next one, Golden Mind signing off. Peace and love, yo.
To be the best, you got to work overtime. To be the best, you got to work overtime.
These young boys getting better. This is not like the NBA when you can retire. Like this is, you have to keep going.